Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Welcome to my weekly market roundup 27th December 2020. I am Sagar Nandi. I used to work in IT. I retired now, swing trading stocks using the Q systems and techniques that I developed. You may contact me using my email ID tradingprofitably@gmail.com. I regularly share live market and stock analysis on my channels. My website sagarnandi.com, YouTube channel Trading Profitably, and Twitter handle Sagar Nandi. You are most welcome to make use of them. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. I am not an investment advisor. It is not a trade recommendation. Trading involves risk. You and only you are solely responsible for the outcome of your trades. Let's continue with the live system. First, having a look at the global markets using Q Global running on MetaStock, using the standard weekly daily at a glance template. In the daily, after displaying a series of bearish headwind signals, price could not go up. It is moving sideways. In the weekly, the candles are indecisive with a number of candles with upper tails and also a number of candles with lower tails. Unless AXJO can break out of the sideways range, the direction is not clear and you may stay away from taking new trades. Japanese market Topix index. This is also moving sideways after displaying the bearish headwind signal. The weekly is also showing the same sideways move. Chinese index CSI 300. Again, it is moving sideways. Price is bound by resistance and support memory trend lines. In the weekly, it is moving sideways as well. UK's market index FTSE. Again, it is moving sideways. After displaying the bearish headwind, price could not go up. It has a resistance memory at the top, and at the bottom, price is supported by both white and yellow direction lines. Weekly is showing a number of candles with upper tail as well as candles with lower tail, showing the indecision. All the global markets that we saw so far, Australia, Japan, China, and UK, they are all moving sideways. A few weeks ago, it was in an uptrend, all these markets. Now they are moving sideways. And what about the Indian Nifty 50 that used to be the strongest of the global markets? Well, that is continuing. Weekly has a long lower tail, that is a bullish shape candle. In daily, it is in an uptrend. Though it displayed a bearish headwind signal, price is supported by trendline support. Unlike the other global markets, it is still continuing to be in an uptrend. What about the USA market? For that, we will use Q Elite running on TradeStation. Let's use the market ETFs starting with S&P 500 ETF SPY. If you follow my trading technique, you would know that I don't use seasonality in my trades. Why don't I use seasonality? If you look at majority of the seasonality calculations, the systems that use seasonality, they tend to use weekly candles for the analysis. But my trading technique, at least the trades that I share regularly on my forum, YouTube, etc., they are for short-term trading. Average holding period tends to be between 1 week to 2 weeks. And if my average holding period is between 1 week to 2 weeks, I am not able to rely on a mechanism that uses weekly candles for its underlying calculation. Seasonality may work, but for the kind of short-term trading that I am interested in usually, for that seasonality may not be required. In fact, it may be misleading or confusing or both. If we look at the seasonality, at least when I listen to several people who use seasonality, the last 1 month was supposed to be a bullish seasonality period. However, if we look at SPY for the past 4 weeks, it is moving sideways. There is no direction at all. That doesn't disprove seasonality, of course. Seasonality doesn't tell that every year it has to work. It tells that statistically it works most of the time. But in any case, it didn't work this year, and for my kind of short-term trading, it is not relevant. So I don't use it. And I noted that this year, during the Christmas period, or prior to the Christmas period, the market could not go up. Of course, if we look at small cap stocks, we'll see a different picture. I'll come to that. As far as SPY is concerned, market is moving sideways. It also displayed a bearish headwind signal. Now, if we look at the activity bars in the daily chart, then we see that since this strong up move, that was the huge gap up move, which actually closed near the low of the day, that was a very high volume bullish day. That was in the first week of November. And now we are on 27th December. For all these days, 1.5 months plus, there has not been a single bullish day with heavy activity. How do we know heavy activity? By a green dot on the activity bar. But that has not come since this gap up day, which actually closed lower. That is showing, though since then price has gone up. If you see, even with comparison to the high of that day, this week's close is little bit higher, but that higher move was gradual and it didn't go up with high activity. Doesn't make it bearish, of course. It is still being supported by trend line support, multiple of them in the daily chart, and weekly broke the trend line support this week. However, it closed near the high of the week. It is moving without any direction, just like the other global markets, all the other global markets except India. If we look at DIA, same picture in weekly and daily, there is no direction at all. Nasdaq ETF QQQ, this is still continuing to go up, though very gradually. This is not moving sideways, this is moving in an uptrend. Once again, if we look back from this week, for a long time there was not a single day with heavy bullish activity. The last bullish activity was on this day, that was again early November, just like in case of SPY. And small cap stocks ETF Russell 2000 IWM, the equivalent ETF is IWM. That is the strongest one. It is going up sharply in an uptrend, no doubt about it. And the jump and thrust in the weekly chart are showing that it may pull back. It may pull back, but there is no sign yet. When will we know that sign? We'll know it if the thrust and jump both tilts down and the red color goes away. When the red color goes away, it may change to green, it may change to yellow, or it may change to no color. When that happens, then we know that at least for the moment, at that time, bulls stop buying aggressively and we may look for a pullback. That has not happened yet. It is overextended, shown by thrust and jump, but there is no change from the red dot to no dot or green yellow dots. Again, if we look in the daily chart, since the first week of November, or maybe second week you may say, 9th November would be in second week. Since the second week of November, there was not a single day with very high bullish activity. But price is certainly going up in a clear uptrend for IWM. If if two of the market ETFs, SPY and DIA, are moving sideways, one QQQ is moving up but very feeble up move, QQQ, and one IWM is going up sharply, then we are having a mixed picture. Mixed picture at the market top near the year end, when the trading volume is thinner, may not be the time to keep on adding to long positions. At the same time, there is no sign of bearishness, so we may not take short trades as well. This may be a time to stay away from the market, maybe enjoy our holiday season as much as we can with the virus still around, but that may be the best choice as far as trading is concerned. I am also not taking new trades, not many new trades at least. That is the conclusion from the market ETFs. This conclusion is in sync with the global markets conclusion. If we look at QH to see the sector, industry, stock advanced decline breadth, now we cannot say it is bearish. Over 1 month period it is clearly bullish, 10 days also bullish. Over 5 days this week it is mixed. However, over last 2 days and 1 day it regained strength again. This is not showing enough bearishness, actually no bearishness I should say. Some weakness over 5-day period but no bearishness. So we cannot take short trades right now. The market is still bullish as shown by QH. QH, this graph is very powerful because it is looking at 3 dimensions: sectors, industries and stocks all together across many periods from 1 month to 1 day, and that is not showing any bearishness. If we look at Friday's sector strength, 8 sectors went up, 3 went down. That is bullish. Over 2 days, okay, Friday, I should say over last trading day, Friday was market holiday. So over last trading day, 8 sectors went up, 3 went down, and over last 2 days, it is even more bullish. 11 sectors went up, no sector went down. utilities was weak for a long time, and every time it goes up, I look for low risk buying opportunities that are turnaround candidates. I am keeping an eye on the sector's acceleration to see if utilities is going to move up, or I'm also looking at the sector score that will also show the possible turnaround. Let's look at the sector score. If I look at 1 day period, utilities is the second strongest sector, real estate is the strongest sector, and the pace column is showing that there is a tie between these two sectors in terms of acceleration. So every time I see utilities is trying to go up, like in this week, or rather the last trading day, both this week and last trading day. Why I am saying that? Last trading day the score is strong relative to others, and acceleration is also the strongest. Over 5 day also it is accelerating. In fact, it is the strongest. So I may start to look for buying opportunities that may be turnaround candidates. Why turnaround candidates? Because this sector was languishing. It was either the very worst or the second worst sector for a long time. If you look at 12-month period all the way up to 10-day period, the score was either 1 or 2, the worst or the second worst sector. Over 5 days it improved, over 2 days it improved, and over 1 day it is the second best performing. Whenever that happens, I drill down to the industries using the cog icon, or I may directly drill down to the stocks using the peer analysis icon. And when I get all these stocks that are in all the different utilities industries, I am looking for turnaround candidates. So I may look for stocks that are having great valuation. Because the sector was one of the weakest, I'm expecting to buy undervalued stocks. So instead of using the 3-star or 1-star, I could simply look for stocks with great valuation, and these are the only stocks in S&P 1500 in utilities sector under various industries in that sector that are having great valuation. I may also look for stocks that are having great secondary valuation as well. And if I wanted to focus on only those stocks, I may use the scissor action button to remove everything else. So I'm left with these few stocks. Now I am looking at the dividend column. Utility stocks are known to pay dividend. Let me sort it by dividend yield percentage. All of them pay a decent dividend. It varies from 2.5% to 5.2%. If I get a turnaround candidate, that may be a buying opportunity for short term as well as long term. I'm not a long term investor, but that is a way you may look for turnaround candidates in sectors that were weak for a long time, just starting to go up. Then look for undervalued stocks, both in terms of valuation and secondary valuation. You may also consider dividend yield as an as a, as a factor to be considered. I was hesitating to use the word important. For short-term trading, is maybe not that important, but if you are going to hold it for longer term, then you may consider dividend yield percentage as a factor to be considered. Now, if you are trading for short-term, earnings quality is not that important, but if you are looking to possibly hold it for the longer term, then earnings quality is important, and let's exclude this stock EIX. So I'm going to remove it. I highlighted using the love or preferred symbol and then press the delete key on my keyboard. I am left with these few stocks. Some of them have short squeeze score better than others. So let me take advantage of that also. I'm going to focus on only those stocks that are having a short squeeze potential. Again, I use the scissor action button to remove everything else. I'm left with only 4 stocks. What are these stocks? These are stocks in the second strongest sector, utilities, the most accelerating sector over 1 day as well as over 5 days. They are in utility sector, all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4 stocks. All these 4 stocks have great valuation and secondary valuation. All of them pay a decent dividend. They have reasonable earnings quality. If earnings quality was poor, that would be in magenta color. In all Q systems, weak or bearish or poor is red or magenta. Strong or bullish is green or cyan, and medium is yellow. So all of them have reasonable earnings quality. Now we could look at these stocks by pressing the chart icon. Let's do that. We could use the chart action button to look at the stocks using MetaStock Q Global, or we could use the grid or radar action button to look at the stocks using Q Elite. Let's open all of them using Q Global's default chart template, that is the daily entry chart template. All the 4 stocks are open now, and I am going to flip through the stocks one by one and see if they have a proper Q trade setup. This stock does not have a Q trade setup. It is moving inside a range. If it breaks out of the range, that would give a possible trend following long setup, because at that time it would complete a higher high, and it already, by that time, it will have a higher low also. So it may give a breakout plus go with flow trend following long setup if it can go above the trend line resistance. When you consider that possibility, you may put an alert on the stock to see if it is able to go above this level, which would be, let's see, 31.3. Right now, as of today, there is no trade setup, so let me close it. Next stock, UGI. It has a similar picture, moving sideways. Looking back, this bullish headwind could capture the lowest point. After that, price didn't go down below the watermark support created by the bullish headwind. Right now, it is again inside a triangle formed by resistance and support memory. Like the last stock, UGI may give a breakout setup, but it may not give a trend following go with flow long trade setup, because it is not having or will not have higher high, higher low at the time of the breakout. It is still in a downtrend. It may give a breakout setup, and when the breakout setup comes, that is, it goes above the trend line resistance, it will also go above both the white and yellow direction lines. That may be a time to consider buying the stock. Right now, it has no trade setup. Next one, MDU. This one is moving sideways. However, it is better than the last 2 stocks. This is MDU. Why is it better? Because it has trendline support, many of them, but no trendline resistance. It has watermark resistance, but trendline resistances tend to be more effective. Why? Because if their was any trend line resistance, that would mean that it is having lower highs. But that is not true. We don't have any trend line resistance. We have watermark that shows it has equal highs, not lower highs. That's why I said that trend line resistance tends to be more powerful than watermark resistance. Watermark resistance signifies equal highs. Trend line resistance, if it was there, would signify lower highs. Again, it is moving sideways now. A good buying opportunity will be if price could come to the trend line support. So you could put two alerts in such a case. One, at the trend line support price level, if it is hitting that and going up, that would give the lowest possible risk buying opportunity. Another way could be if price could go above this watermark resistance, that would be a kind of breakout from range setup. I'm not very big fan of that. However, there are other traders who consider such trades. Those can be very effective trades also, especially when the sideways range is quite long. So you may put an alert on a stock like this MDU, both for a breakout as well as for a reversal at the trend line support. As of today, there is no Q trade setup. Closing this. Next one, AES. This is the only one among the stocks we saw so far that is in a clear uptrend. It has trend line support, no trend line resistance. Very clear uptrend. However, it is extended by now above the upper boundary level. So I will not buy this stock right now. Close that. So I went through a few utility stocks. What did I do? I first found out that utilities as a sector was showing acceleration and strength this week. I didn't look at the industries. I directly went to the stocks first and started to find strong fundamental stocks. Strong fundamental across different criteria. I included valuation, dividend yield, as well as earnings quality. But I didn't find any Q buy trade setup today. And for last few weeks also, every time I see that utilities is showing some strength in score or acceleration, I am carrying out the same exercise. But so far, last few weeks, just like today, I did not find any low risk Q trade setup. This technique is very effective. If you carry out this analysis, takes a few minutes, you will be able to locate strong fundamental stocks in sectors and or industries that were weak for a long time. Sector industry is just going to start upward, move upward, and you'd be able to catch undervalued stocks at a lower price point. You may keep an eye on utilities. If I wanted to get back to all the scores, I can refresh the data from cache using this refresh from cache button. I did that. Let's look at the sectors one more time. Double clicking the header row, header column rather, sorts by that column. What can we see? On last trading day, real estate, utilities, and then communication services. These are the strongest sectors. Those are defensive sectors. Especially real estate and utilities are defensive sectors. At the bottom are the worst performing sectors. They are energy, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, financials. Consumer staples is a defensive sector. The others, financials, consumer discretionary, energy, are non-defensive sectors. So we see at least on the last trading day, defensive sectors did better overall. If we look for the scores, the strongest ones and the weakest one over 5-day period, Then we see the strongest ones are, let's say these two, infotech and healthcare, non-defensive growth stocks, lots of growth stocks in those two sectors. And the worst performers are utilities, real estate, energy. Utilities and real estate are defensive sectors. This is showing the flip-flop move that we would expect looking at the market ETFs that are going sideways, many of them. The sectors are also going up, down, up, down. The ETFs are also doing that. Again, showing this may not be the best time to keep on adding new trades. Let's look at Finder. Finder is a special Q tool, very valuable, very useful. It shows the technical breadth across your own trading universe. The balance between bullish and bearish Q signals. Let's look at the weekly period first. If we look at the pie charts on the top right corner, we see all signals are balanced. Little bit more bearish, but for trading purpose, we may say all signals are balanced between bulls and bears. Trend continuation signals are also balanced. Reversal signals are also balanced. Only strength signals are very bearish. 82% of the strength signals are bearish. And when we look at the bar chart, then we know the reason. This week there were a large number of gap down moves. Gap down move, and then we see a large number of bullish reversals. Only one bearish reversal that neutralized the gap down move, the reversals, and at the end of the week, or at the end of the last, a weekly period, not last 5 days, here it is one weekly period, all signals, continuation signal, reversal signals, they all became balanced, neither bearish nor bullish. If I look at the daily period, last trading day, then it is more bullish than bearish. All signals 64% bullish, strength signal 63%, trend continuation 69%, reversal signals also 55% bullish. So overall, the last trading day was bullish. Bullish, however, we saw from the market ETFs that the market is not moving much, not showing much directional move. When we look at the sectors, we don't see that. Finder also, if we run Finder every day and see these charts, it doesn't show enough move, and ETFs are also not showing that. That is my market outlook. Probably time to enjoy the year end and the new year, not the time to take many new trades. When that is the case, let me not look into new trades much. Instead, let me spend some time on Q radar or sonar. Q sonar, which is radar on trace station, is a tool that allows us to look at many signals across many stocks at the same time in real time. This Q radar is similar to Q finder. Q finder is based on Q global running on Metastock, and Q radar is running on Q elite on TradeStation. There are some differences. Of course, Q finder can show the technical breadth, and then we can very easily drill down and do multidimensional filters using the paint brushes and also using the flagging option. And there is a series of action buttons that allows us to go from Finder to other Q Zenith based systems like peer analysis or Q Global also. From Q Elite radar, we are not able to invoke Q Vital or Q Edge, that is, we are not able to look up a stock's fundamentals or stocks industry score by using action buttons. However, we are able to look up that, of course, using the ticker symbol. That is one difference, that there is no action button like there are in QFinder to integrate tightly with QVital, and from QVital we could go to QH. And we don't have the ability to do so easy multi-dimensional analysis and look at bearish and bullish signals across thousands of stocks. The other difference is QFinder can process thousands of stocks at the same time. It can be used in real time. The scan is run on Q Global on Metastock in real time using the two explorers, QFinder bearish and QFinder bullish, and then the data is viewed using QFinder and we can do multidimensional analysis. In real time, however, not as real time as in QElite. In QElite, the moment we drop symbols, and let me do that, let me add a custom symbol list, a list of stocks with weekly options. The moment we drop the symbols, it will start calculating all the Q signals and it will show using this same color scheme that all other Q systems uses, red bearish or weak and magenta bearish weak and cyan green bullish strong. And this is in very much real time, tick by tick real time. The limitation is that Q radar, that is trade station radar, is not able to handle thousands of stocks at the same time that QFinder can. So how do I use it? When do I use QFinder? When do I use QRadar? When my symbol list is not so large, like in this case, the list of stocks with weekly options. I'm scrolling down. This list has 286 stocks that can be processed by radar. So when my list of stocks is not very large, 200, 300 like that, then I use QRadar. And when I'm interested in buying stocks, then I use Q Global and Q Finder because I would like to choose the best stocks from a larger universe. What universe is that? That is the list of stocks with high volume. And that list has more than 2000 stocks for the USA market. So when I'm looking for buying the best stock, then I want to use the Q Finder. When I'm looking to buy options, then I may use this smaller list, and for that Q Elite is also enough. If we look on Friday's data, now it is retrieving data and filling up all the cells. You can see from the color codes you will have an idea whether last trading day as far as Q signals was concerned was bullish or bearish across these symbols. Now at the top there are some columns heading with capital letter. Those are the Q trade setups: breakout, bounce, HW headwind, box, and GWF go with flow. They are for different market conditions. And then there are the other signals. They are not trade setups but signals. They are used in the same way that QFinder is used. For QFinder, there is a detailed tutorial on my YouTube channel. For QRadar, let me go through the columns. The first column is the symbol column, the ticker symbols that I placed here. Next one is interval. For Q technique, swing trading, or even for longer term investment, the primary interval may be daily interval. The entry signals are received from the daily interval. That's why it is set to daily interval. However, if you wanted, you could change the interval of all the symbols by highlighting all the symbols by clicking the column header, or you could choose a number of stocks, and in both cases, after you select the stocks, you may go to time frame and change it to daily to see the you can change the interval from daily to weekly to see the signals over weekly period. In case of QFinder, there are several tabs, separate tabs for bullish daily and bearish daily and bearish weekly, and bullish daily and bullish weekly, several tabs. In case of Q Elite, you are able to highlight the symbols for which you would like to have weekly signals and then change the time frame to weekly. For Q technique, I don't use the weekly period for individual stocks. For entry signal, I use only the daily period. Sometimes I may look at the weekly period for the market ETFs, as you can see on my Q at a glance template. On the sideline, I have the market ETFs here, then the two commodities, oil, gold, then US dollar ETF, UUP, FFTY, the IBD 50 ETF. These are for the daily period, and then I have those for the weekly period also. Then the mega cap stocks, mega cap tech stocks, daily period, and here mega cap stocks, weekly period. But other than in this case where I am looking at the major market instruments over both daily and weekly, I am using the weekly interval also. For my trading signals, I am not using the weekly period, I am just using the daily period. The next column in QRadar is the closing price. After that, the gap column shows the stocks that are having gap up or gap down move. Just like in QFinder, you may double click on any column. Okay, for most of the case, it sorts by that column. The gap open column helps you take gap trades. If there is a significant gap up or gap down move, then those significant moves will be shown by color coding. Gap down moves will be shown in red or magenta color. On last trading day, only Alibaba had a significant gap down move. There were many other stocks with gap down move and also some stocks with gap up move, but they were not very large gap up or down moves. If we are looking for gap trade setups, we may focus on the stocks with significant up or down gaps, and Baba was only one of them. That is how you may use the gap column. The next column, O plus minus, it's actually showing O is for open. To fit all the signals on one screen, QRadar uses shorthand for some of the column headers. So O plus minus is actually change from open. O is for open, so change from open plus or minus. And C plus minus is change from previous close, positive or negative. If we look at Alibaba, it opened with a minus 10.9 gap down move. After the gap down open, it went down further. That is what is shown by the O plus minus column. From open, it went down further by minus 2.4 percentage, and therefore relative to previous day's close, it closed minus 13.3% lower. That is how you may have an idea about the daily candle by reading these three columns. It had a gap down move. So let me try to show. If this was one day earlier's candle, next day opened with a gap down move, significant gap down move, and then went down little bit more. That is how you may use these signals to visualize how the stock is moving on the daily chart. And as I already mentioned, you may use the gap column and only the stocks with significant gap up down moves to look for gap trades. Sometimes the stock may start to go up and then reverse, or start to go down and reverse. That is shown by the false move. If it is red color, then it tried to go up and then went down. And if I double click the column header, this green false move stocks that are showing that it started to go down but actually went up. You can see there are fewer stocks that started to go up and then reversed, and there are many more stocks that started to go down but reversed. So overall you can see reversals were more from here. Now false move, if the reversal from false move continues so much that it goes beyond previous day's boundaries, then that will be shown by the reversal candle. This column, reversal column, that shows that for these three stocks we have reversal day. That is, price tried to go below previous day's low but closed above previous day's high. Therefore false move is a reversal but not as strong as a reversal candle. False move shows price started to go up or down in either direction but started to reverse, and when it becomes so strong reversal that it closes beyond previous day's boundaries, then that will also show up as reversal. If you are looking at a reversal at pendulum low or price extreme low, those may give buying opportunities. What is pendulum low? Pendulum low shows the price level of a stock relative to its past history. Again, if I double click by column, the stocks that are at price extreme low, they are shown by magenta, bright red or dark red. Magenta being the lowest extreme, then bright red, then dark red. And if I double click the column header, these are the stocks at price extreme high. Cyan is the most extreme, then bright green, and if I scroll down further, dark green. Did you notice that when I look at the stocks at price extreme high, there are many stocks at price extreme high in this list of stocks. What is this list? Stocks with weekly options. And if I reverse the sort order, you see the number of stocks at price extreme low is very small. So the stocks that are at a very high level are remaining at the very high level. At this list of stocks are at very high price level. Most of them, only few of them are at a lower price. Again, if you see a reversal candle at price extreme low, that may give a low risk buying opportunity at a lower price. You may also look for reversals at the top, like FIVE, this stock. This is showing a bullish reversal at pendulum or price extreme high. That may be a stock that it may be a IBD style buying opportunity. Maybe breaking out. In this case, there is no breakout setup, but this is showing a reversal candle at the very top. Bullish reversal at the very top. That may also be a stock of interest to some people. I prefer to look for reversal candles at price extreme low. Bullish reversal at price extreme low or bearish reversal at price extreme high. But both are possible signals for trading. Either bullish reversal at price extreme low can be of interest. Bullish reversal at price extreme high can also be of interest. Now let's look at the signal columns first. The pressure column shows whether price moved up or down significantly, and this significance is a combination of both distance and volume. So if I double click again, in this list of stocks, 3 stocks moved down with significant bearish pressure and 2 stocks moved up with significant bullish pressure. Again, cyan is the most extreme bullish side, then green, and magenta is the most extreme bearish side, then red. When the pressure comes, okay, let me refresh. When the bearish pressure comes immediately after a bullish pressure day, then the U-turn column is also lit up, also colored. So I'm seeing that FireEye, this stock, the top stock, it is having a bearish pressure and also a U-turn. That means FireEye went up with very high bullish pressure and immediately after that it reversed with high bearish pressure. So that is why I'm seeing bearish pressure and also U-turn. So when a stock was trying to go up with heavy bullish pressure and immediately after that reverses with heavy bearish pressure, that is more significantly bearish than just having a bearish pressure without a U-turn. So both of these columns can be used. FireEye is showing a stronger reversal in terms of pressure move than you may say Baba or Emo. Activity, this column is showing whether volume was very high or extreme high or very low or extreme low. So that is also significant, but if you are looking for any of the trade setups like box, bounce, you may use both pressure or activity. Bounce, box, both has a requirement for high activity or high pressure. If I sort by activity, usually you will look for high activity moves. The low activity moves may not be of that much interest, but if we look at the high activity moves, then Baba, the top stock, it has very high activity, activity showing very high. Actually, cyan color is extreme high activity, extreme high volume, and the pressure is showing that actually it is a down move, bearish pressure. The activity and pressure, they are required checklist conditions for several Q trade setups for both bounce and box trade setups. We need either high activity or pressure. Now let's look at the next signal column, DIR or direction. This shows whether a stock is above both yellow white direction lines. What are these direction lines? These are slow and very slow direction lines. If above both of them, above only one of them, or below two of them, or below only one of them. If we see it is in bright red, then the stock is below both the yellow and white direction lines. dark red is below one of them, not both of them. If I reverse the sort order, bright green is showing that all these stocks with weekly options, they are above both yellow and white direction lines. And if I scroll down, there will be some dark red colors, I hope. You see a lot of stocks are in good uptrend. Why good uptrend? Because it is above both yellow and white direction lines, and there are some that are above one of them but not above both of them. That is shown by the direction. The boundary column is showing whether price is already above upper boundary or below lower boundary, or approaching them or very close to them. Why it is required? When we are taking a go with flow trend following trade using the checklist, then the expectation is to buy in between the two boundary lines near the middle, and then book profit at the upper boundary for bullish trades and opposite for bearish trades. So if a stock is already at boundary high like these stocks, then we may be less interested in taking a go with flow trend following long trade setup. And if a stock is already at boundary low like for these stocks, then we may be less interested in taking a go with flow short trade setup. That is the use of the boundary column. Traffic column, that is using the traffic light candle color on the Q entry chart to show whether this particular day's traffic light color is bullish or bearish. Red is bearish and green is bullish. This traffic light is a required condition for several trade setups. Headwind trade setup uses it, box setup uses it, also go with flow setup uses it. Next signal column, squeeze. It is showing the stock is inside a squeeze or coming out of a squeeze. Red means the squeeze is continuing to contract, so it is in a squeeze. And if I see any green cell, and I am not seeing here, if there was any green cell, that would signify squeeze release. We don't have any squeeze release in this list of stocks on last trading day. So squeeze column shows squeeze and squeeze release both. And the release column is actually stretch release, shortcut for stretch release. Green means it was oversold and now the bears gave up, bulls regained control, so it is a bull release signal. And the red ones are bear release, that is it was overbought and now buyers stopped buying aggressively, and now for the time being bears are in control. So bull release or bear release signal, that is a required condition for the box trade setup. Next column shows relative performance. Red color is the stock is relatively weak relative to S&P 500, and green is relatively stronger relative to the market S&P 500. Next column is option percentile. It is using option data to show whether the option volatility is high or low, or option price is expensive or cheap. If the percentile is low, then it is safe to buy options by volatility, and if it is high, shown by the sand color, and this is not price level high, this is option volatility or option percentile high. If it is at a high percentile, then you may look for option strategies that are selling options, selling volatility. If it is already very high, buying calls will be very inefficient, and when the option percentile is very low, buying puts may be very efficient. I am avoiding talking about buying calls. Buying puts may still be effective if the volatility is so low. That is how you may use the option percentile column to make option strategy decisions, whether to sell volatility or buy volatility based on option percentile. The industry column shows the industry. Sometimes you may sort by the industry column and see which industry is stronger. Of course, if you are using Q edge, then you don't need to use it, because Q edge, sector scorecard and industry scorecard, is much more efficient way of figuring out what is going on across hundreds of industries and the 11 sectors than using Q Elite Sonar, Q Elite Radar to look at industry strength. Now let us look at the last remaining signal, that is touch. This signal is telling that the stock is touching trend line resistance, that will be shown by red color, and trend line support, that would be shown by green color touch. Those are the signals, and now we are left with the trade setups. Let's look at them. The bounce will show that it is a possible bounce trade setup, and bounce trade is one of the standard Q trade setups. It has an unambiguous checklist. As of last trading day, I don't see any bounce trade setup that would lit up these cells with either bullish bounce green or bearish bounce red. Headwind is the possible reversal trade setup using headwind signal. This is not just a signal but a possible trade setup. I know that from the capital letter of the header. So bounce is also a setup and headwind is also a setup. Again, the bearish setups are in red or magenta color, magenta here, and bullish setups are in green color. Interestingly, the one that is showing bullish headwind signal is XLU, that is the utilities ETF. XLU is the utilities ETF, and from Q edge we saw utility sector became stronger on the last trading day. So it may be of interest from that angle also to keep an eye on utilities. XLU displayed a bullish headwind signal and also a possible trade setup on last trading day. The next trade setup after bounce and headwind is box, that is the sideways market or double top, double bottom, triple bottom kind of setup. As of last trading day, there is no box trade setup in this list of stocks. Bullish box setup will be shown by green color, bearish will be red color. Next trade setup, not signal, meaning it takes into account many signals together. Go with flow or trend following trade setup. You can see there are several possible bearish go with flow setups and also several possible bullish go with flow setups. And breakout. Breakout is also a possible trade setup. It doesn't have any checklist, but it is a possible trade setup. I tend to take breakouts if they are low risk and if the breakout is associated with heavy activity or pressure. Again, bearish breakouts are in red color, bullish breakouts in green color. So when you drop a list of symbols, typically I drop a symbol list if it is having 200 to 300 stocks, not more than that. Then you may use the different columns to quickly focus on what you are looking for. In the beginning of the day, you may use the gap column to look for gap day trades. How to take gap day trades is explained in one of the Q books. I discuss it sometimes also in my videos. Gap column you may use to look for gap trades, and that is in the morning session soon after market open or right at market open, because Q radar will calculate all the signals tick by tick. You will know as soon as the market opens whether there are significant gap up down moves from this column and look for gap long or gap short setups. And after that, around 9:30, 9:40, you may start to look for the Q trades using one of the trade setups, either breakout or bounce or headwind or box or go with flow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 trade setups. That is how you look for trades, either gap trades or any of the other Q swing trades, and the rest of the signals can give further justification of taking a trade. Therefore, if you are, for example, if you are looking for breakout trades, bearish side, I'm not suggesting taking any bearish or bullish trades right now for the reasons I mentioned earlier. But on a particular day, if I'm looking for bearish breakout trades, then I may focus first on BABA because that was a breakout with heavy bearish pressure. However, when I look at the direction column, I see it is in a downtrend already. Boundary is showing it is already at lower boundary. So though initially I am interested to look at the stock chart, even before I open the chart, I am little bit less interested looking at the fact that it is already below the lower boundary. On the other hand, if we look at the other breakout setups, they are not below lower boundary. In fact, EWG, let me highlight it. EWG is actually bearish breakout at upper boundary. So this may be of interest to a person who wants to short the top. It is above upper boundary, but it is having a bearish breakout. So that is how you may look at many stocks and then quickly focus on stocks giving more bearish signals, more bullish signals. First, you will probably use the trade setups and then add the other signals to find the best buying or shorting candidates. And of course, before trading, you would open the chart. So let's have a look at few of them from different angles. Let's look at the headwind, and we saw XLU, the utilities ETF, is giving a bullish headwind. So I clicked on the ticker symbol XLU. All my workspaces are okay, not linked with this color. Let me link with the yellow color. Now if I click on XLU, it will come to my yellow color at a glance, and indeed it has a bullish headwind signal. The XLU ETF on the daily chart, it has a bullish headwind signal and it is about to regain the white direction line. Yellow direction line is still above it and it has a trend line resistance. If we go back to Sonar XLU, let me insert some row to focus on that. You can see direction column is red. That means right now it is below both the white and yellow direction lines, and that may be a good thing if I am looking for a bullish headwind trade. Did it give a trade setup? No, because the weekly did not meet the conditions. Radar is showing that signals based on the daily interval. The weekly checklists also need to be made before we consider taking a trade. If the weekly color was yellow or shape was bullish, not indecisive, then we could take a bullish headwind long trade in XLU. So we may keep an eye on utility stocks, and that I already kept an eye on based on QH. That is how you may use different signals. Let's look at BABA. Let's remove the blank row and look for breakouts, and let's look at BABA. What we can see from radar, even before opening the chart, it had a massive gap down open. It went even more after that, closed 13.3% lower compared to previous day. It has a bearish breakout. Breakout means it broke below trendline support, already below lower boundary. Below both the yellow and white direction lines, it went down with heavy bearish pressure and very high volume, and relative performance is very weak. Option volatility is in the middle, so any option strategy is applicable. Now if we look at the chart, indeed it has a breakout, huge gap down open, and after that it went down further bullish pressure, extreme high volume, and it is already near the lower boundary. So even before I, sorry, it is already below, much below lower boundary. So even before I opened the chart, I could read all the signals from sonar, and as I mentioned earlier, when I saw it was already below lower boundary, I had less interest in this, so I could delete it, and then I could look for the bearish breakouts. One of them is at upper boundary. Let's look at that, EWG. Okay, this is breaking out from this trend line support. However, the traffic light color is bullish. There is no breakout trade setup. Weekly is also bullish. That is how you may use the sonar first to get all the signals calculated across 100, 200, 300 stocks. May use the gap column first to look for gap trade setups in the morning session, and soon after that start looking for swing trades using the capital header trade setups, and use the other columns to provide additional justification for taking a trade, and use the option percentile column to decide what kind of option strategy you are going to use. That was a quick description of Q Elite's radar, Q sonar. How do I use it? I use it for this kind of symbol list with 200, 300 symbols. Another way I use it is keep an eye on the market ETFs. So here I have these instruments on a simplified radar. I may also look at them on this full radar or sonar screen to see what kind of signals are coming in the market ETFs, mega cap tech stocks, gold, USO, etc. Another thing you may do sometimes, after you have exited a swing trade with profit, and you might have booked partial profit at initial target, remaining position you might have closed using trailing stop, and you are still comfortable and confident about the stock based on the industry strength, fundamental strength, you may wait for that stock to give the next buying opportunity. You may create a list of those stocks where you are interested in opening a position again. That would be a smaller list, smaller than 300, 200, maybe 10 stocks you have exited recently and you are looking to enter again. You may create a list of those stocks and drop them on QLE radar from time to time, or every day, every trading day, to see if they are giving the next trade setup using this standard trade setups: breakout, bounce, headwind, box, go with flow. These are the three ways I use Q Elite. One is to drop list of stocks like the optionable stocks or stocks with weekly options, high liquidity options. One is to look at the market instruments, mega cap stocks, commodities. You might use it to look at market futures or commodity futures also. And third way I use QLE Trader is to sometimes look at the stocks that I have exited already with profit and I have confidence on them. I'm looking for the next entry point. That will be a shorter list, 20, 30 stocks that you may keep. That is a brief description of QLE Trader. You could do similar operations using Q Finder if you are using MetaStock instead of TradeStation. We are past 1 hour time. I took a while to explain different aspects of Q Elite. I hope it was useful. Let's end today's session here. Thanks a lot for attending. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Have a great weekend and trade profitably. Thank you.